Well, hello and welcome to Yellow Flag FPL, the podcast where all of our opinions should be yellow flagged. My name is Harry,
And I'm Stephen Berry.
and we've been gone for 2 weeks, Stephen. I've missed your face on the screen. You've been away, then we had computer issues and all sorts, but we're back reviewing game week 24. There's been lots gone on, lots of goals, and it's been a sort of turbulent time for me in FPL. But Stephen, I didn't wildcard this week. You did.
Yes.
How did it go?
I'm just going to give some advice to players out there. Do not wildcard up a mountain at après-ski. You don't make the best decisions. And you also forget that once you've made those decisions, you can reset them, but you forget to do it nearer the deadline. So, yeah, with some general advice, do not wildcard at après-ski up a mountain. It's not ideal. Just to cut a long story short, I did terribly. 36 points on a wild card when the average was 55, I think. Or yeah, 55. So pretty terrible. I have some defense that I did this after, must be said, shredding the mountains pretty magnificently. It needs to be said that was
Of course you are.
that part I did pretty well, but for as very well I did there, I did as badly on the wild card, unfortunately. So you can imagine, like I was obviously going backwards down Harry Kiri and Meyerhoff, and you can imagine how good I was there. But no, not the best wild card. Saka got injured. I did Evan Nilsson over Krupi. Like I don't want to go on, but either way, it was. Let's be frank, it was a disaster.
And you finished on 36 points.
36 points dropped a million places, I think, a million and a half or something. It was a lot.
Wow. Cool. Well, I have kind of landed quite nicely this week, but after, as I said in the intro, a start that was absolutely appalling the last couple of game weeks, like way below the average sometimes, 20s and 30 points in places. But this week, finished on a nice 63 with an auto sub coming in, actually coming in quite nicely for me in the form of Gahey, giving me 3 points off the bench when Saka didn't start. But Trufflet's got the clean sheets at Wolves. Michele's also got his 9 points. Also, fun fact about him, he I think is only 50 points off Ludstrom's season of the 2021 season.
Wow.
He needs to average 2.6 points a game for the rest of the season to get that average. I think it's 50 or maybe 40, something like
Yeah,
that.
but
But
extra context though is that DEFCON's have played a huge part in that. But it's
that's true.
somebody, I think it was FPL Harry or somebody posted that
Yeah,
he's
did, yeah.
returned like 19 out of 25 games or something like that. Some sort, which is incredible.
He's
Yeah.
averaging 5 points a game. It's crazy. Like, and you got to think that Sunderland have had some poor results recently, but he's still getting 4. He's still getting an assist against West Ham where they get thumped 3-1. And he's got 9 points in this game. Gabriel's got the 8s. Bruno I brought in as well. Haaland captain 10. João Pedro, even though he didn't start, he still came off the bench and got a goal and assist. So yeah, pretty happy with this game week. I'm hoping it will kick me on back into the top million because I was tumbling, mate, tumbling. But I'm glad I didn't wildcard. But your wildcard was fun. You went with no Haaland. You went some bold calls, and we appreciate that.
I went for Salah as well.
Yep,
Try,
like that.
when you're so far behind, got to go a bit of yin to the yang. No one else is going to have him. So, but the main mistake I made on my wild card was to get rid of all my Sunderland players. So I'd like to talk about Sunderland Burnley first. So, I mean, so the reason why I did that, and the reason why I said that I thought Burnley would do something, is that I thought Sunderland without Xhaka just
Yeah.
won't be the same team. Has that game reassured me that's the case? It actually hasn't. I don't think it's reassured me about Sunderland as much as more as it's confirmed or actually worsened my concerns about Burnley.
Yeah.
That performance from Burnley, like considering how well they played against Liverpool in certain games, and like the Newcastle they got a point, like I that really was a T. I think that basically says what you need to know about them, which is Scott Parker's done pretty well in keeping them motivated, but you could sort of tell that they didn't really believe. In this game, they were like, well, if we win, like, in other words, the pressure really got to them. So, I think Burnley are now just going to get progressively worse. I think they've played pretty well, and they've not quite been a Wolves or even a West Ham where you're like, okay, I'm going to go for them. That game, they knew they had to get something, and were awful. I still have some concerns around Sunderland. I mean, obviously Mukiele is an absolute god. I think he's still is he 4.5 now though? I think he's actually he's so well
Yeah, he's
owned.
4.5, but started at
He's
4. Yeah,
4.5. Yeah, yeah. So Hume played at right wing again, which is interesting.
he did. Yeah,
Lafille
that's well.
played. Lafille played well. Could have got more. Probably I think it was a bit unfortunate, but yeah, Burnley like that just really screamed a team that they knew they had to win that, and I think that's all their wind gone. I think the Burnley performances we've seen, I think it's really target Burnley now. I wouldn't be going hard on Sunderland after that. I mean, I don't think many people would after the 3-0 anyway. But I think Burnley have become a real operation target now. I think that's the gut punch. I don't think Scott Parker's going to be in the job for much longer either. I think that's really the end of the road.
Yeah, I mean, I've not heard anything about Scott Parker. He seems to, even though they have put these performances in different points of the season, I haven't heard anything really murmuring. I think they maybe are just accepting their fate and hoping that he'll get them back up again with better players. But yeah, I mean, it's also worth mentioning Lafille got 20 Defcons in this game. So really kind of taking up, yeah, and Ballard got 11 for context, right? So it's one of those things where maybe without Xhaka in the team, he's taking ownership of that. Yeah, I mean, no other Sunderland players got Defcons in that game apart from Lafille and Ballard. So yeah, I think it's really interesting. I've seen some people bring him in. I think that's okay, but it's 5 million. Would you do that? But the question is, when is Xhaka coming back? You know, have you heard anything?
I think he's out for the season, isn't he? He's out. It's a long one.
Is he?
It's a long.
Oh wow! Okay,
it may potentially out for this. I know it's a long one. Maybe not the season, but it's a long one.
Okay, cool. So Xhaka's a sell because I saw him flagged and I hadn't seen any news about it. I hadn't been following it too much, but probably the reason why I've been doing so terribly the last couple of weeks. But Operation Target Burnley. I've got double Sunderland defence, which is not ideal for the next two fixtures of Arsenal away and Liverpool at home.
Rose will make saves in those games. He'll make some saves.
He will.
He will. I think you'd be pretty nailed on for 4 points in both those games. Maybe 3s and 4, maybe.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then for the Arsenal game, I don't know. But anyway, those can come on in the following weeks. But yeah, and then if you were looking at maybe a Sunderland attacker, I mean, Robbie's now started back to back. He seems to be the guy who gets in, but he's not that consistent. Their goals are kind of coming from all over the place. So do you think it's more have a defender from Sunderland and maybe Lafille?
Yeah, Lafille because he's really cheap. Like 5 million for a midfield. A Cam is brilliant, especially a Cam that are now. I think they're 7th again or something like that. That's you just say for the price alone, that's pretty good. Especially as I know we've been saying this a lot now. You want a Palmer, you want a Haaland, you want a Fernandes, you want a Gabriel. Like the money that was sloshing around at the beginning of the season is starting to go. And Lafille at 5 million, I think that's better value than an Elliot Anderson. Well, Elliot Anderson actually has been a bit of a bonus point machine recently, but that's not good. That's good. So I think Lafille.
That was sunset.
Yeah, exactly. Lafille is, and I think Lafille is now finally down his position in the team as well. I think Reggie now has a much more consistent idea of his attacking team. I would say. Yeah. So yeah, I like Lafille at 5 million.
Yeah, and just to emphasise your point about Burnley, they didn't have a single shot on target all game. I reckon Roos was getting bored in goal. He had nothing to do. So, clearly not good things going on. But let's move on to another team in claret and blue playing a team in blue, and that is Chelsea West Ham. That was a really shite transition, but I'm going to go with it, Stephen. I'm going to go with it.
It's close enough.
It's close enough, right? Okay, so I need to give context for the viewers of how I watched this game. So I just been at Leyton Orient, watched them lose to bottom of the league Port Vale with my friend Rob. We were drunk, we were upset, we were annoyed. We got to the Cow in Stratford, saw that West Ham scored the first. Then we saw they scored the second. We were like, Christ on a bike, what is going on here? This is insane. The pub was going mental because there are a few West Ham fans around. And then we moved on to another pub to play pool. Then Chelsea got the first goal. Then they got the second goal. And you think, no way, it can't happen. It's just there's no way they can lose their heads this much. Until, of course, came on the pitch and tried to eat every player that was there. They did. Enzo Fernandez with the winner, 3-2. a really crazy game, to say the least. And from an FPL perspective, interesting that João Pedro didn't start. I mean, I get it. I looked at the Napoli game. Was it the Napoli game they played midweek? And he played the entire game.
Yeah,
And I transferred him in this week, and I went, oh, that's a risk. But, it's West Ham. Sure, he'll play. Liam Delap didn't play a single minute in Napoli. But interesting enough, when João Pedro came on, Liam Delap stayed on. And we've said this for ages. When João Pedro plays as the 10 behind the lap, behind a 9, that's when you get the best out of him. And he did. He played well, scored a goal, assisted in the winner. So, yeah, really impressive performance. And would it worry you if you were a João Pedro owner that he didn't? I mean, it worries me, but surely that performance says that he has to start every game now.
Well, I guess the question is, so hold on. So Palmer said on the pitch then. So where did João Pedro play, or did Palmer move out to the wing?
I think Palmer was more on the wing. Palmer was more on the wing. Yeah, I mean, I was drunk at the time.
I don't think so. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Look at the rest of the team. Jameson played, for example. Hatto played. Delap started. Gittin admitted this because Estebal's away. So, in other words, Rosini was just like, lads, it's West Ham. So I think after going to a tough game in Naples, he, like a lot of people, thought it's West Ham. We don't need to try that hard. And I think what this proved is a few things. I mean, annoyingly, Bowen got more returns, but I sort of want to take it away from him. I think that's more Sanchez just being Sanchez, which isn't going to happen every week. I think it's just a reminder that this is our league. It's the Premier League. Every game's difficult. You can't take everyone for granted, even West Ham. But again, the difference though, like West Ham actually looked pretty good in the first half, and everyone said that. But the second Chelsea brought on basically their full team, it was just completely night and day. So, and I know West Ham beat Sunderland, but Sunderland again, they're sort of betwixt in between, which is like they need to play well at the Stadium of Light because of the fans and the atmosphere and everything like that. But they're not probably going to get Europe now. They probably know that. They're not going to get relegated. So, a bit like Newcastle, ironically, the Northeast neighbours, like, away from home, what's the point? So, I don't think we need to get too excited about West Ham. I think it really just shows a few things that game. West Ham is still West Ham, and Chelsea are not as good as people say they are. They only rested a few players, and it's still West Ham they played against. Like, some of those performances from the Chelsea team were not acceptable. Garnacho, again, I didn't watch it, but Garnacho apparently gave one of the worst performances of all of human history. So, Chelsea's interesting players are obviously Enzo Fernandez because he's cheap and somehow keeps scoring. Don't know how.
Yeah.
Do not get it. Esteban when he comes back.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fernandez is a better pick for midfield than Palmer. I know you've been quite hot on Palmer recently, but and he has had good chances, and the stats, he is killing it on the stats game, but he's just not coming up with the end product. And Enzo Fernandez is on penalties. He's making those last runs into the box. He does get DEFCONs. He's kind of an all-rounder midfielder machine, and maybe that and it's 6.7, 6.8. Let's say Saka's out for a longer period of time. I can see that switch, and then you can spend your funds elsewhere. And I think, obviously, we've talked about Haaland, whether it's time to sell, whether it's time to move on. But if you were looking at having a really strong midfield, I could see a really nice midfield of Saka, Bruno Fernandes, Rodgers, Enzo Fernandez, someone else who's I can't think of another one on the top of my head.
I mean, look, he's sixth right now.
Expensive,
he's just below Harry Wilson. Again, Harry Wilson. I'm another one. I'm convinced he will stop at some point. So I mean, look, logically, you should just go for him. Why not? Like I said, he's done it pretty consistently. Now he's obviously not hauled every game, but he's pretty consistently came up with stuff. Casemiro, by the way, your shout all those times ago, he's at 105. He's really been on a nice little run, hasn't he? Jamie Carragher, fair play Jamie Carragher saying leave the punditry before the punditry leaves you. Credit, fair enough. Carragher, annoyingly for Man U fans, really got the last laugh there. They must be furious that he said that. Play to Carragher. Look, logically, it's Palmer. I know you spoon that one. He's going to start every week now. His his injury concerns. Bit of a break in Europe. And when Palmer's going to be getting 20 pointers, this sort of thing. I think Palmer is worth the extra money, especially with Chelsea's next three fixtures. So,
Yeah, I
um,
mean they do have the best run in the league at the moment. The best run I think I've seen in a long time. So I think if you're owning a Reece James, I wouldn't be put off by the fact he didn't start. I'm not put off by the fact that João Pedro didn't start. I'm going to keep him. But I would be if, let's say, we got news that Saka's out for a long time. I think him to Enzo Fernandez for the next three makes perfect sense, particularly when you think about, after, was it mid-February, we'll know more about the blanks and the doubles, and then probably we'll start planning double wild cards, free hits, and so forth. So after this nice little run, you could be talking about changing your whole team anyway and getting a Saka back anyway. So I think Enzo Fernandez the next three perfectly legitimate, perfectly reasonable. But we should talk about West Ham as well. I mean, Bowen's obviously walked away with a nice little set of points there. Some people still stuck with him. Fair play to you guys. But Somerville is the player that has been
Somerville, yeah.
it's been ticking along nicely. And look, West Ham are still West Ham. They're not great. They do have Burnley away next. But if you look at his last couple of games, Somerville's got 4 points, 10 points, 8 points, 7 points. That's a
Yeah.
nice run for a 5.5 million midfielder who is 0.8% owned. It's not bad.
He looked
Um,
great at Leeds. Since he went to West Ham, he's looked terrible up until
that's
recently.
true.
But hey, he knows he needs a move in the summer, so gets himself in that shop window
Yeah, it's almost
nicely.
Tottenham buying him, and I'm just like, why?
Wow.
Why are we talking about? Yeah, I know.
Oh
Also worth
no. Oh
I
no.
know. He's going to get ruined. Wan-Bissaka's obviously come away with 2 assists, therefore
No, no,
7
don't you dare
points.
talk about him. No, I'm not
I'm
having.
not.
No,
I'm
no.
not going to suggest him, Stephen. Stephen, I'm not going to suggest him. Don't worry. And then obviously there's a bunch of Defcons in the Casado's back in the Defcons. Chalaba's into the Defcons. Enzo was on 7, just for the record, so he didn't actually get Defcons in this game, but I'm sure will. But he was second for the bonus. Bowen's got 2 bonus here. I'm not sure entirely why. He's only got the 1 goal, but fine, okay.
Did you get an assist as
So
well? Oh no, Wan-Bissaka got both
no,
the
no,
assists in there.
no.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka got both assists. So yeah, I think. Look, I wouldn't invest in West Ham, not even close. If Somerville was a 0.5 cheaper, would you be tempted?
He's a very, very even at Leeds, he was so streaky. And his streak is
Yeah.
gonna end with a red card and a known goal. And you might be bringing him for that game. So and then he will literally do nothing after that. So
Yeah.
um I think just for him in the future, let's say he moves to Brentford next season. Wait for him to score and then get him in. Enjoy those 4 or 5 games and then get him out. But his streak is gonna
Mhm.
end, and it's gonna end very abruptly.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Um, yeah. I think West Ham are probably they're showing a bit of fight. And that would cause me to concern any players going to West Ham. I mean, we've talked about the West Ham crowd being really shit on their own players.
Yeah.
But in that Sunderland game, that was the loudest I've heard that stadium in a long time. And if they could keep that, if they can really harness that, it could be a place that's really difficult to go and play. Like Man United are going there in a few weeks' time. And I know they're on this big run, which we can talk about. But that'll be a hostile environment for Man United. And I could see West Ham doing something. Not winning, but their players doing something, right?
I don't think it is. Like
I
the
can see them getting a
Sunderland
couple of
game,
goals.
Sunderland didn't turn up, and West Ham started well. Of course, that's not the problem. It's when they go 1-0 down. It's just
Yeah.
the players have to play like prime Barcelona in 2009, and then they'll be like, all right, or the other team must be so bad that that's how it looks, and then they'll support them a little bit. But no, 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 no. No, no. Barry, I know you're trying to find something to talk about, possibly about West Ham, just to play devil's advocate, but absolutely not. Just a reminder though that Chelsea are not as hot as they say they are, but again, the next 2 fixtures are pretty.
If he wins those next 3 fixtures, he's not lost a game yet. I mean, it's a great
Who,
start. It's a great start.
Liam Rosenior? I actually like Liam Rosenior. I think.
So do I. He's very
Um,
David Brent, but I like him.
no, but I think, you see that interview where he's just like, "Oh yeah, my kids show it to me and I laugh." And the players seem to like. I mean, look, he has to be given
Yeah,
a chance. I think we're
for sure.
so used to Roy Keane going, the way to manage is to beat people up and smack them against the wall, and it's just like, which obviously did not famously work for Roy Keane as a manager. So
Yeah.
we in a new woke era? I don't know, but clearly you can see that. I mean, the difference under him and Maresca. And Maresca, I don't think was doing a terrible job by any stretch of the imagination. But even
No.
you could just see there's more there. Anyway, conversation for the other day because I'd like to talk about a different claret and blue team, which of course is Aston Villa. Because I want to say, just quite frankly, that I'm right. So you, Barry, might be going like, oh, what you mean about Kelleher, who came away with 10 points? Right.
Yeah.
No. He made, I think it was 5 saves from an XG on target of 1, i.e. 0.2 per save. No, I am correct about him. He has had 2 hauls. He got 30 points against Sunderland. Again, Sunderland didn't bother playing away from home that day. And again, I don't know how he got that massive, whatever. And then he got those 10 points. He's still not top. I think all it just shows is that the goalkeepers, they just don't matter in FPL, quite frankly. Like, I think we spend so much time overthinking, looking into this. Like, I just looked at it now in terms of there is some correlation between how good the players are, but like Pickford is ahead of Rose by a point. Raya's just behind. Kelleher, Sanchez is on 90. Sanchez is 15 points behind. Honestly, Donnarumma's on 81, right? Honestly, FPL and goalkeepers, they need to work out a completely new system for them because it just doesn't make any sense. Sanchez should not be on 90, and Kelleher should not be on 93.
Well, I'll clip that up because what I've heard there is
Yeah.
goalkeepers are useless in FPL. It's good. It's a
But
good eulogy.
I don't think. Is that a controversial comment? I don't think that's a controversial comment at all. I think that's something that's
We'll
incredibly
find out,
well
I
known.
suppose. We'll find out.
Is it?
Stevens. We got a lot of hate last time.
I think it's something incredibly well known. I mean, obviously, they obviously have to. Someone has to get the points, but I think anyway. Anyway, what I was right about was what would Brentford do? Villa went for it. What did Brentford do? They win. They win that
true.
game. If Sharda, I captain Thiago, if Sharda hadn't have done what he did, again, streaky player, that's how Somerville's run's going to end, Thiago would have hauled in that game. Sharda would have also hauled in that game.
Thiago with Afcons. He was actually 3 points
Still,
off Thiago. Unlucky.
Yeah, I think Bowen's the only one who's got it this season. So,
yeah, he's got
I think he got 9, so it says a lot. Yeah, of course Brentford were going to win that game. Now I know you look at the XG and stuff like that, and the big chances, but Villa, no, I watched the highlights. They skylock. Like Brentford are so organised, and like they know. The only team who rates themselves correctly is actually Brentford. People are like, oh, Brentford are doing so well. They're not that bad. I think Brentford know that they're not that good. They know that they're not that good and play that way. Burnley go for it. Wolves even go for it. You saw against Bournemouth. Petrovic, all the saves that he went. Brentford, and fair play to them, are just like, we're pretty shit. We know that, and we are going to absolutely own that. We have very quick attackers, and they are just going to absolutely lump it and go. So, and then play for set pieces. So, I think Brentford have got someone. They've got someone terrible next. Is it West Ham or something they have next? Who did Brentford have?
No, they got Newcastle.
So Newcastle, they're going to win that game. They're going to win, or they're going to get, because Newcastle are going to absolutely go for that. And then, so basically, I just want to say
Newcastle away and Arsenal at home. Those are difficult games.
That's why they're going to do well. They don't look at their results. Look, anytime they play anyone good, they do all right because they just sit back, lump it to Thiago on the break, or to shot loop it in. That's all they do. Anyone who just goes, we're going to sit back, they're like, clueless. Honestly, I just want to really highlight this. If you have Brentford players like a Thiago, people are a bit worried about Thiago. Honestly, you want him against good games. It's actually quite a nice little differential, if you like, in that way, which is like when they're playing tough teams, Brentford players go up in value. So yeah, as I said, I know they've got shit play. They've got Brighton at home next. They're going to be terrible against that in that game. Who else have they got? Burnley away. They're going to lose that. Like honestly, they are so set up against the big teams. They're so set up against the big teams. But honestly, I would rather captain Thiago Arsenal away than I would have Burnley at home. That's exactly who they are. And I think if you look at their results and everything and the output, it's proving to be the case. And just watch them. Just watch them. They just do not bother. They do not know how to play football. They literally don't. I'm sorry, I'm maybe a bit harsh here, but like they just don't. They just honestly don't. They don't though. Watch them. Just watch them. They honestly don't. They are the most lump it forward team ever.
But it has been effective for them. I mean, I'm just bringing up the table now. They are 7th in the league in arguably the best league in the world.
I'm not saying it doesn't work, and let's be frank, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I can't really criticise.
Yeah, yeah, well, that's
So
right.
bring it forward. But Arsenal, if they need to, can I'm actually being harsh on Arsenal. Arsenal can clearly do the other thing. But I think obviously FPL is so much about fixtures. I think people can get drawn away but actually don't look at certain, like Brentford are one where a bit like Fulham last season, but admittedly for very different reasons. Those players, when they're playing the tougher teams, you actually need them because you're going to have some weeks where not everyone's going to have an easy run or an easy fixture week, and that's when players are really powerful because you can play them against the Arsenals, the Man Cities, etc., or away at Newcastle, for example, knowing they're probably going to do all right. And that's actually, I think that's a very powerful FPL tip, personally. So there you go.
Halfway
So I've managed to insult Brentford and also compliment myself all in one. So I'm pretty happy with that.
And insult every single goalkeeper in the Premier League as well, and the idea of
No,
goalkeeping as a principle.
I wanted to insult Kelleher and Sanchez. No. No,
Okay.
but that's exactly the point I'm making. Sorry, what's the percentage difference between 19?
I've started him up again, ladies and
5%?
gentlemen. I do apologise.
Is Kelleher 5% better than Riot? No, he's a million times worse. Like, come on. All I'm saying is that FPL is not football. It's a points-based system which needs change. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, cool. Christ, yeah, I haven't spoken to you in all that time, Stephen. I've forgotten how easy it is to get you to nibble and just go on a rant. It's brilliant. But let's move on and let's hopefully get some more nibbles out because
I want to do a few more things just on Villa. Again, Tammy Abraham started, which is I was a bit surprised.
Watkins is out. Watkins out. He got injured in the
European
games. Yeah, he got injured in the European games. So Tammy Abraham went straight in. He obviously scored and the goal got disallowed, probably rightly so, but he was unlucky. I actually did think that Tammy Abraham was a secret rogue shout that I think would do quite well. He had a great spell there when they were in the champs, so the fans love him. So I think he'll do well.
Yeah, Douglas Luiz went back. Forgot he left.
He did.
Forgot he went
and his ex has gone to Leicester City as well. Hilarious.
Oh yes, of course, yes. And Sancho started again, but again, I think that's a little bit. I think that's sort of Maatsen started. I don't know. Did Villa sort of not pay Brentford enough respect?
Yeah, I think Villa turned up expecting to win that game. They didn't create enough, but I think to be honest, I don't think it's a case that Villa lost that game. I think Brentford won it. I know that sounds really like Michael Owen, but my point is that Brentford, after that red card, not only did they score, they then defended like their lives depended on it. And they made the game really difficult and horrible and nasty. And, the manager's talked before about the fact he wants to make games like that really turgid and horrible. And they did so well. And Dango's goal is gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's a really nice goal. And it shows kind of what he can do, and I think it's really impressive. I mean, he's not an FPL asset. I don't think he's too expensive, but yeah, real pure class that. So I don't think Villa were necessarily that bad. I think it was just that Brentford wanted it more, and they really went for it, and they held on, and they defended like champions. And fair play to them. They are really solid in their place. It shows that Villa just, that they'll probably fade off. Probably they'll get Champions League. Assuming Liverpool don't change the way, but I think it's I think that Brentford really deserved, and could be pushing for European places. So maybe that's extra motivation that maybe the teams like Sunderland, we mentioned before, didn't have. So, but imagine that European football at the G Tech Community Stadium. You can see it now, Stephen, can't you?
I want it at the stadium live because Newcastle have a song. I've never seen a Macam in Milan, so I really hope that they can stop. They literally sung that when Sunderland were in League One, for God's sakes. Like, just absolutely. But yeah, just quickly on FPL. Cash, Rogers, still good picks. Thiago, I honestly think is a must. Like, Enrico Henry's a good player. But Thiago, keep the faith in Thiago. He would have got so much more if Charlie got sent off. He would have got so much more.
Yeah, and there's such a silly send-off as well. Like,
it's just stupid.
There's thousands of cameras around. What the fuck does he think he's doing? Like, he's never going to get away with that. Like, stupid boy. But cool. Let's move on to you've been trying to stop me from moving on to talk about Man United Fulham because we're going to have to say some nice things about Man United and recommend some United players.
That last minute winner against the mighty Fulham at home.
Well, okay. So my summary of this game, from not from an FPL perspective, but in general, is that sort of result is the result under Man United under the Fergie days, like that where they get the last minute winner when all of the things have got. The romance of it, Stephen, and that will give them so much. I agree with you what you said previous pod that this is their thing. They've put a fan favorite in. He's going to do well for the rest of the season. They'll give him the job, and he'll be sacked in December this year. We know
Yeah,
this, but for the meantime, we're only talking about this season. We only care about it from an
yeah,
FPL
that's
perspective.
true.
What this means is Bruno is a must-have. I think if you've gone in Bremer, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with going both. If you've gone Cunha, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with going both. But Bruno definitely, and I think that so I think Man United is a massive invest. I think Fulham were a bit unlucky, to be honest, because when Bruno made it through the assist to win the game, Bassi got turned. If I'm Bassi, as Troy Deeney said on Match Today, put him in the stands, take the yellow card, and you get the draw, right? It's crazy. So interesting that Cunha got the goal this time. I think the goals are going to be shared quite nicely between Mbemo and Cunha. So my thought would be go Bruno and maybe a Man United defender. I wouldn't, maybe not go Mbemo, but if you have already gone there, fine, but just get Bruno as well. What were your thoughts,
No,
Steve?
you're right by and large. Yes, Fernandez is a must have. Again, if I wasn't up a mountain, I would listen to my own advice about that one. Yeah, Mbembo is a midfielder playing as a striker. I'm not going to bite on you saying that Fergie last minute winners with referee decisions was romantic as an Arsenal fan. Obviously, I'm not going to concede to that. You've got the nibble, well done. But again, people will look back at this and go, because again, I know they won. But I know you're saying like fucking. I know you don't actually even believe that. I know you're just doing it to annoy me. But this will actually people next season when Carrot gets sacked will go back and look at this game and go, well, the signs were there. They're not actually that good. Arsenal. That actually ruined my holiday. Us losing to that genuinely ruined my holiday. But people will look back. I think that this is gonna be one of the games when Carrot gets sacked in November. They're gonna go, well, the signs were there against Fulham at home, and there'll be other ones. But yeah, no, but look, we're both right on this. Like the Man U swing is very real. They'll get Champions League and bomb out of that. But anyway, as you said, we're not playing FPL 26-27. We're playing FPL this season. Fernandez is a must-have. Mbembo is playing as a striker, so pretty solid. And yeah, why not? Why not a defender as well?
I'd agree with you there. I think also what's an interesting player to mention is Ahmad, who's 6.2 million.
Yeah.
He's going to be very low owned. He's playing as an offensive player. He's a midfielder, which is annoying from Defcons and from clean sheets. But I think Ahmad would be an interesting follow-up if you couldn't get to an Mbeumo or a Cunha, but wanted another offensive player outside of Bruno if you already owned. I think Ahmad is definitely reasonable. Maguire got Defcons in this game as well. He's 4.3 million. He'll be very low owned as well. Dallo I do like, but he just has a mistake in him all of the time and they will concede. I can see them getting results like 2-1, 3-1, 4-2. They're going to be some crazy games and good to watch. The one player I've been touting him for a while, but he didn't start in this game, so I can't consciously recommend, is Sesko. Like, he took his goal really well. The 2 goals he scored against Burnley, I know it's Burnley, stop laughing in the back, but he is a good player, and he's young, he's coming through, he needs an arm round him, he's got a manager there who's going to do that, give him the feel-good factor. I wonder whether, he's just so expensive, 7.2 million, yeah, that's just too much, but if you had a slot in that position, if you had a slot in at that price range in the striker position, could you be tempted? Can you see yourself owning a Sesko?
No. So we're just gonna move on from that. But because the one other player I would like to, because I don't think there's much more to say on that. One other player I would like to talk about is just briefly Chukwueze at Fulham. I think he's going to start playing for them more, and he passes the eye test. He got a big haul against Man City, I think, from the bench.
Yeah.
Should have got more in this game. If he starts playing more consistently, he's the new Harry Wilson. but again, so a Harry Wilson who actually looks good and like is not gonna get flukes every week. He looked good, but again, but he's 5.3 million, which is a bit annoying. So obviously you go for Lefay over him, but
Yeah,
nevertheless,
probably.
one to keep an eye on. Speaking of some rogue shouts, Barry, should we do our bankers, middling and rogue for the week?
Absolutely, Stephen. Absolutely, Stephen. Because you want to move on swiftly from talking about Man United and talk about some things
Yep.
that will get you more
Yeah,
excited about.
I'm
So
I'm
why don't
very
you?
glad we had technical issues for the Arsenal man. I'm so I was anyway. I
Yeah,
think like a lot
I
of
was.
Arsenal.
I asked you to send me your notes, but let me for whilst you're doing your banker middling rogue, I'm going to find a message you sent to me straight
Uh,
after that game. So yes, why don't you tell us what have you gone for?
the banker is like a TK. We didn't have time to discuss Liverpool and Newcastle, but yeah, like just he's back. He's a very good player. He's actually injured. He's got his place nailed down, so I think he's pretty good. His price is he's still relatively decently priced. To be fair, I can't remember if he's obviously not cheap, but I think for who he is and the starting Liverpool forward, Liverpool cannot defend. They're going to have some bad results, but he's still a very consistent player. Middling, I've just got middling because of his price, and that's Chavela at Chelsea. Probably the most
Yeah,
nailed on defender. I mean, yeah, he has to be the most nailed on. All Chelsea defenders are all expensive. He's the little bit the cheapest one, but I think he's going to start a lot. He gets DEFCONs. And Wolves leaves Burnley, probably three
yeah.
clean sheets in a row. Um, and my rogue shout is I'm bringing back somebody from the death, somebody who is still 8% owned. So people talk about casuals. This guy is still 8% owned. So there's obviously a lot of people who pay attention at the start and then drop off. But he's 3.9 million, and that is
Oh,
Esteve.
okay. Well, wow. Okay.
So I've obviously just went in pretty hard on Burnley, but West Ham at home. That game is going to be absolute dog shit. He'll get his DEFCONs. He'll get a clean sheet. He'll maybe get some bonus. Crystal Palace away. Dog shit. He'll get his DEFCONs. Maybe get his clean sheet. So, nice little differential, basically. He then has Chelsea away. But
We'll get
Brentford
Defcons
at
in that
home.
game.
Could get the Brentford at home. Burnley will probably about this point sit back. Brentford will go, oh, I don't know what to do, and then he gets his clean sheet. So yeah, I mean, if you want 24 points over the next 4 game weeks, if slash more, Esteve is your man. I've brought him in as well. I've money where my mouth is with Esteve. I've generally brought him in. Is he going to start? I don't know, but he's been brought into my team. But I honestly think he could do. He was out injured for a little bit. He's actually a decent player. I say, to be fair, he's not. He is relegation Premier League quality, but he's still he's still a decent player. Probably too good for the Championship, not good enough for the Premier League. That sort of level. Um, but yeah, so Esteve is my shout. I said I'm bringing Esteve back from the dead.
Awesome, awesome. And it's worth telling you live that Arsenal have won against Chelsea, beating them 1-0 with a Kai Havertz last minute goal with an assist from Declan Rice. So they will be playing in the final against the winner of Man City.
Newcastle and Man City 2-0 up
Newcastle.
away, so it'll be
Yeah, yeah.
probably Man City.
Man City, Arsenal. Wow. Well, that in your calendars, ladies and gents, that would be great. So, and as promised, I will say. So, I got a message from Stephen. I would be so angry on this pod. Arsenal and my team probably wildcarding for fuck's sake. So that were your words straight after. So we couldn't do the live recording. That would have been really fun to hear your rant there. But let me cover my bankers, middling and rogue, and then we can. Did you do your shock result as well? Sorry.
I think my shock result was Burnley to win. Probably, yeah. Burnley
Burnley to
to
win
beat
is your
West Ham.
shock result.
Yeah, it's a little
Wow.
bit of a shock. It's West Ham, but I think Burnley to win. Yeah, I think that's shockish enough.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. So my banker is actually Krupi. So
Okay, yeah.
I think the goal he scored against Wolves is very similar to the goal he scored against Spurs, and they're both really good goals, which shows this kid knows where the back of the net is, right?
Yeah.
I think he's going to get his spot much more nailed down now. He's playing alongside Evan Nilsson. He's hungry. He's got that energy. And Bournemouth don't have a terrible run. They seem to have steadied the ship. They've gotten a few extra signings as well, which are more creative players. So that will give him more space, more time, and all the rest of it. So I think that's a really, really good sign. My middling, I've gone for two players because it really depends on the slot you have slightly, but they're similar price packet, and also which fixture you prefer, and that is Wirtz or Semenyo. Now they both play each other this game week, right? So that's going to be a write-off. But afterwards, both have pretty good fixtures. So it's whichever fixture run you like the most. But I think both look great. Semenyo hasn't skipped a beat since coming from Bournemouth. He scored a lovely goal against Spurs, and Bert's got 12 points against Newcastle. He looks like he's beefed up. I don't know what they've fed him, but he looks like he's a bit of a monster now, and he can definitely handle the physicality of the Premier League. And at 8.1 million, if you're still owning a Foden, I think it makes absolute sense. And then my rogue shout is a Man United defender or the goalkeeper, and it's rogue because you're not hanging your hat on clean sheets. Those clean sheets are not coming, right? No. What you're hanging a hat on is defcons and assists. So whoever you think, and think about the fact that I've recommended the goalkeeper there, the fact that don't get defcons, rarely get assists, says how rogue it is. So I probably out of all of them would look at Harry Maguire because he's 4.3 million, and so you can scream slabhead when he does something. But also he does get defcons. It is fun, and he does get defcons. He does command at the back. I think he'll do well.
Oh, so sorry, so just bear in mind, you recommend the Man U goalkeeper who has gotten 1, 2, 3 returns out of 20-ish games. So 1 in about a bit less, 18. 1 in 6.
Yeah, 1 in 60, and that's why I said Man United defender or the goalkeeper if you're that way inclined. Because some
you have
people
3. So hold on, you have Wirtz, Semenyo, Man U, and now we're on to the
rogue shout is a defense of Man United. Your rogue shout a few weeks ago was sell Haaland. So I think what we've done here is we've created much more variance.
I'm just confirming your rogue shout is Lemons at Man U. That's your rogue shout. Just confirming.
No, our rogue shout is a Man United defender or the goalkeeper if you're that way.
Okay, fine. Got it.
If you're happy with your defense, for example, and you want to get a bit of Man United defensive assets, go for the keeper. If you're happy with your goalkeepers but want some Man United defense, go for Maguire or Dalot. That was my point. So that's what I mean. But you are right to ridicule me. I was flip-flopping on that. And then my shock result, Stephen. Spurs to beat Man United at Old Trafford. Come on, the boys. Let's go. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah. Spurs have done well against. You're basically like a Brentford light, against the decent teams you can play okay, but so fair enough.
Yes, it's I'm not confident on that shout, listeners and viewers. I mean, Troy Deeney said it on Match of the Day too, on Sunday. He said on the second half, all they did is they passed it forward, went forward, and won their collisions. And I was screaming at the telly, "Why don't you do that every game?" Like, if they can carry that on, sorry, listeners and viewers, that was quite loud. If they can carry that on into the next fixture, I think they're going to be fine. Man United look good. We know they do. But Frank can use his defensive tactics in that game, as well as the rigidity and the resilience that we showed in the Man City game in the second half. And maybe Solanke can score another scorpion kick, which was phenomenal, by the way.
It was a great goal. I just want to bring up one thing, which is Rodri saying they don't want us to win the Premier League. I can think of 115 reasons that the Premier League has been very pro them winning the league. Bear in mind, we live in a pretty ridiculous era. Unbelievable from Rodri. Also from Rodri, the man who has Fernandinho's cloak of invisibility. Genuinely, what is wrong with that man? Honestly, the least grounded basis for, and we have, I generate quite a few of them myself. Unbelievable. I don't think it was that bad a decision, was it? He's going for a kick and the defender's gone in front of him. You could say it's 50-50.
Oh, no. That's the goal that they think should be cancelled. Oh, get off it. I mean that was the sort of goal that, I know defenders, if they do it to a striker, it's a penalty, but ultimately that's not the sort of goal you want to see disallowed. I wouldn't say that was a penalty if it was the other way around, put it that way. So,
and then Pep Guardiola saying we haven't spent enough money. I mean, honestly... I'm sorry. Arsenal are getting some criticism for their heads going. And yes, our heads are permanently gone because we're so neurotic about not winning the league for a while, and I'm very much part of that camp. But this is sure. Come on, this has got to be a bigger head loss. What if Man City had more than 3 fans? They'd be talking more about this. I think this is the problem. Anyway, not really the point. But I'm just.
Well, I think we should leave it
I
there,
had quite
viewers.
a rattling football week. I've had quite a rattling football week.
I think we could leave it there, viewers, because as you can hear and see, Stephen's head is on Mars. Stephen, do you want to reveal any of your transfers before we wrap it up for this week?
Saka to
Any
Fernandez
ideas?
and Achapong to Esteve. Yeah. Again, don't miss this up a mountain. That's all I can say.
And your view on Saka, if you were owning, sell? Is it sell time?
Gone. We don't know how long he's going to be out for, and Arteta has made it very clear that he's not going to rush players back anymore because he doesn't have to. Madueke signed for Arsenal on the premises of like, I want more minutes, and if he was just to rush Saka back in and get injured, like Madueke is going to be in the team for a while, so he could be an option. He obviously got a big haul against Leeds. He looks good, Madueke, but never got a return. But maybe he start well. But again, he'll be a flat track bully at best. He's not gonna get returns against anyone semi decent, I would say.
Yeah, I was wondering whether Declan Rice could be a good option if you wanted another Arsenal attacker.
Declan
But anyway,
Rice is
something to think about. I mean, I think Saka is in the conversation. I'm also waiting on Sells news because my plan was to start Sells away at Leeds, because I prefer that over Roofs away at Arsenal. And if I know that Sells is out, and particularly when they've signed Stefan Ortega from Man City, it might be a good idea to sell him anyway for the next 2. But anyway, that probably is going to be my plan. So let's wrap it up for this week, Stephen. Thank you to all of you for listening, watching, and for liking all of our things that we're putting out on Instagram. I hope you've been entertained. Remember, play it your way. It's just a game. Thank you to Rita for helping us with the publishing, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.